At the time of this video, it was 5 weeks since my last grocery shop, and our vegetable and fruit bins have been sad and empty for much longer than we'd like. My grocery shopping strategy has changed dramatically. This is my biggest haul ever, but the price tag is very reasonable considering the amount of food we got. I really miss visiting my discount grocery stores, but I didn't want to battle others, especially since I know there are many locals who rely on the stock at these stores, and I'm not in a position to take away from them. So I called local restaurant distributors and wholesalers, and I found 2 awesome ones. For any of you who live in San Diego, I highly recommend Baja Produce for fresh fruits and vegetables, and Continental E&J Foods for everything in between. I'll link their sites down below. Both are family-owned businesses who normally supply to restaurants, but have opened up to the public for contactless pickup. Distributors like these are all over, and many of them are hurting along with the entire restaurant industry. So if you are able to purchase in bulk, I encourage you to reach out to them to see if they're open to the public. Many don't even have websites, so you might have to call around, but I think it's worth it if you are able to and want to avoid grocery stores altogether. It was fantastic getting basic supplies in bulk at very reasonable prices, and at the same time helping local businesses and avoiding the grocery stores. The only downside was figuring out how to process all the food at once. It was quite the learning experience for us, and it's one of the many reasons I haven't been posting videos in a while. I really miss being here with you, so I really hope you enjoy. Start with the eggs. This is 15 dozen for $58. Then we got 20 pounds of bell peppers. That was $15. For the tomatoes, that's 25 pounds, I think. I don't remember how much it cost, but I'm going to dry these using some cookie sheets and slow cookers. That's going to be interesting. I'll try to insert some footage here. This is a big box of pears. These pears last for so long in the refrigerator. If you wash it with some baking soda, wash it well, dry it, and then put it in the fridge, it will last for weeks, months even. So I figured this will last us for a really long time, and I plan on drying some of these as well, along with the tomatoes. The bell peppers, I think I'm gonna freeze those and use those in stir fries. Let's see what else here. This big container of baby corn, that's 10 pounds, I think. I don't know how many pounds that is. I'll insert that here. But this was a little under $4. And crushed tomatoes. I figured whenever we're ready to use this, we can prep it in bulk. They also had some dish detergent. We are running a bit low. I'm not sure when we're gonna go to their grocery store again, so I picked up 1 gallon. This was $5, which I thought was a pretty good deal. I'll see how it is and I'll let you know in the video. In terms of dry prepared food, I bought a 25-pound bucket of falafel mix. I figured this would be good to have in our arsenal for already prepared foods that we can whip up really quickly for a fast meal. Never eaten parboiled rice. I don't know what this tastes like. The lady told me that this tastes like Uncle Ben's rice, which I've never had before. But you know, I did some research, and this is an interesting process that it goes through for the parboiling. Something like it's prepared with the rice in the hull itself, and that imparts more nutrition and makes it less susceptible to weevils. So that'll be good to have, I think. also had sugar, which I thought it will be good to have. This is 25 pounds for, I think it was $15, which isn't the best price, but it's really hard to find sugar here. So I figured I can store this in a bag in the pantry. And this here is a 25-pound bag of lentils, which actually will pretty much go really quickly around here. That's 25 pounds, no, 20 pounds? Yeah, 20 pounds of broccoli for $15. I'll be dehydrating some of this and freezing as well. And then this here is 40 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thigh. Let's see. Ooh. That's a lot of chicken. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of chicken. Okay. So there, I guess, 4 10-pound bags in here. Okay, so I will process these. Yep. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is my biggest grocery haul yet, but the price tag I felt was very reasonable considering the amount of food that we got. I spent a total of $331.45, but this will easily last us for more than a month, and we're able to share with local family and neighbors as well. I never purchased food in such a massive quantity before, so everything was a real learning experience. Processing all those vegetables was a lot of work. We wanted to keep them as fresh as possible, which meant that we had to process them within a day or two. We didn't have nearly enough refrigerator space to store all the produce. In order to freeze them and have them keep their nice green color, we blanched them in some lightly salted water for 3 to 4 minutes, then dried them on towels, placed them on cookie sheets so that they could flash freeze in the freezer, and then partitioned them out into freezer bags. We were able to fill up the whole top row of the freezer with bags of broccoli and green beans. For the tomatoes, I dried them in the garage. We used 2 large cookie sheets on top of my 2 slow cookers. I placed a layer of salt on some parchment paper and then laid the tomatoes, which were sliced in half, on top. Then put a light, very light dusting of salt on the top of the tomatoes. The salt is meant to help to dry out the tomatoes, to pull out the water. The tomatoes don't end up being overly salty or even salty at all. Inside the slow cookers, I was cooking all sorts of things like vegetable broth, beans, and bone broth. So the energy wasn't being wasted at all. I was kind of getting a twofer here. And in order to keep the bugs out, I set a fan pointing to the trays, and this helped to dry out the tomatoes in about 3 to 4 days. It's amazing that those 2 trays of tomatoes condensed down to 1.5 sandwich bags full of tomatoes. Once I was done drying half of the tomatoes we bought, I moved on to drying the bell peppers, which dried really quickly. They only took about a day and a half to 2 days. After trimming off the fat off of all those chicken thighs, I ended up packaging the meat into some tortilla bags that I saved. I like to use double layers of bags when freezing meat because it allows me to stretch the Ziploc freezer bags a lot further. I can easily fit 3 bags of whole thighs in a 1-gallon bag, and most of the time I end up reusing those freezer bags because they're fairly clean and are very easy to wash. I just discard the tortilla bags that were going to be discarded anyway. Most of the chicken I ended up partitioning into bags that contain 6 whole boneless chicken thighs. My boys can usually stretch that amount of meat for a whole week. With the other half of the meat, I ended up cubing up, marinating in cornstarch, oil, ginger, garlic, and soy sauce, and I packaged those into sandwich bags. Each sandwich bag easily fits up to 1.25 pounds of meat, and 4 of these sandwich bags can fit into 1-gallon freezer bag. These thaw very quickly for quick weeknight meals with enough leftovers for lunch for them the next day. I also experimented with keeping the vegetables fresh in coolers using some ice packs. This ended up working really well and bought us enough time to process all of the vegetables that wouldn't fit in our refrigerator. So whatever we couldn't fit fresh into the refrigerator, we ended up processing to dehydrate or freeze. And of course, any scraps got made into broth. Waste not, want not. I truly hope that you are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. That's a lot of chicken. Oh, chicken. Wow, you're gonna eat chicken. Wow.